governments, the federal, the state, the local. Let's see what you can do as individual entities. Not that we continue to infuse the state and local government, and then again we dump the blame on the local government, and then the local government chairmen are saying we don't have the resources to carry out these responsibilities that normally constitutionally are ours. So then we're sort of beholden to the state governors, and now that they have received a certain level of freedom, although the papers again reported that that particular ruling of the Supreme Court might not be implemented until October, because certain structures need to be put in place for a smooth transition, right? But then again, what expectations do you really have now that financial autonomy has been given or granted to the local government? And we need to sort of understand the structure of governance in Nigeria as it sort of relates to the state and local government. Like I said, the constitution already provides it sort of guarantees the establishment of democratically elected local government, their establishment, their structure, their composition, their finance, even their functions. They are supposed to be promulgated upon by the State House Assembly, right? And in Nigeria, local government is, of course, generally known as the third tier of government. They're supposed to be closer to the people at the grassroots level, and all over the world it's saddled with the responsibility of managing governance in local areas. But the findings have always revealed that this local government as an agent of local development have not been effective or efficient in Nigeria. The objective of this particular conversation, right, is supposed to help us understand, or is supposed to help us situate if local government indeed is a third tier of government in Nigeria, or it is nothing but an appendage of the state government. And as much as local government areas are recognized as entities of their own, the constitution still in a way grants supervisory powers or supervisory powers to the state governors. So how do you reconcile the constitution recognizing us as something of an autonomous entity, but in the same breath tell us that the state government has powers over the activities of the local government? How exactly does this work? Even if the financial autonomy is implemented, how about administrative autonomy, the running of the local government? How about that? But then we'll get to the conversation and hear what you have to say. And as we have this conversation, of course, we would be broadening our scope, broadening our knowledge about this conversation, creating new perspective, bringing new angles to this conversation. Like I said, I'll be opening the phone lines quite early so that we can have a conversation. 0913-6000-410. Again, the numbers to call 0913-6000-410. If you'd like to communicate with us, local government really be the beginning of development in the grassroots level? Will this be the start of a new era when it comes to local government development in Nigeria? This question is going to be answered the minute we get back from this break. Don't go anywhere. It's the Situation Room on Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Sage Babalola.
This seems anxious and suffering.
To bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development every 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday, a perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say to except here. This is where I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this platform, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing. We are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dreams. Join Obayamin's policies, governance, and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll welcome you next as we discuss the situations.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The Situation Room is the program. Mainland 98.3 FM is the station. Sage Babalola is my name. And the topic of conversation for today in the Situation Room is trying to understand the complex relationship between the state and the local government. Now that the law has shown its hand and has granted something of a financial autonomy to the local government, although recent reports from the Punch newspaper yesterday told us that that particular ruling of the Supreme Court might be delayed until October of this year 2024, and the excuse or the justification for this arrangement that was reached by the federal, local and state government is that we need to ensure operational viability. We need to make sure that the local government is structured enough, is ready to take on the mantle of responsibility that would come with having financial autonomy, right? And so we need to understand that there are many factors that are being considered. There are many concerns that people are showing, especially because of the things that have happened, the reactions of certain governors, the reactions of even certain local government chairmen. And we would of course reference the Oyo State situation, where the local government chairmen themselves are saying, we're very comfortable with the status quo, alright, you can give our monies to the state governor, we prefer he be the one to do the sharing of our money, where we're not asking you for autonomy. So how then do you fight for an individual that enjoys the activities of their capital? Because it really looks something to me like political Stockholm syndrome. But here, some of the local government chairmen who are saying they're comfortable with the status quo, they're comfortable with receiving crumbs from their governor. Some say maybe it's fear, because we've seen instances where governors just go on ahead, they dissolve the local government chairman, or they sack the local government chairman without any reason, without any justifiable reason. Honestly, it barely makes any sense. And so we have chairmen who are afraid of being removed from their position, and so because of that they have to follow behind the state governors. They have to publicly pledge their loyalty to these governors because they feel they have the authority to remove them from the position of power that they currently hold. And we've seen these things play out in many states, so you can understand where the fear is coming from. In Abia State 2006, is as far back as 2006, even probably farther than that. In Imo State we saw this in 2011, where the governor sacked the elected local council officials as soon as he was sworn in June of that year. We saw it in Rivers State as well, Delta, Ondo, Ekiti states. This has happened many times in the past. Even in Anambra State, Edo State, we've seen it, where even local government elections were not held for years. There were no local government election held. All we were seeing were caretaker committees, and that is illegal. And this is a structure that in a way belongs to the governor, because the law doesn't recognize this, and then the governors go on ahead and constitute caretaker committees when what you're supposed to have is a local government chairman. But you sack the chairman, you constitute a committee, a caretaker committee, and then they are beholden to you and they do what you say. You pay the piper, and then you start to dictate the tune at the detriment of the people that you were elected to cater to. And another glaring issue here is the influence, the ripple effect of this on democracy. Democracy starts from the grassroots, and as much as we like to focus on the center, we like to focus on the general elections or who becomes our president, it's quite sad that we barely pay attention to what happens at the grassroots level. We don't pay attention to the individuals that win the elections when it comes to local government. And we have governors who even sometimes work against the interests of local government in their states to the detriment of development in the local government areas. And we see the state government, they either misappropriate the funds of local government, or even they use the funds or perform the functions that originally were meant for the local government. For example, in November of 2009, right, we had 1.7 billion naira that was allocated to 20 local governments in Ogun State. And yes, Ogun State is the poster boy for this particular conversation, or for lack of a better word, is the poster state for the illustration that we're trying to establish here. And only 700 million out of 1.7 billion was allegedly released to the local government by the state governor, and the amount was even half of their financial requirements. So how then can we demand performance? How can we demand efficiency? How can we demand effectiveness from the local government if they are getting less than half of what they require to execute the responsibilities that we ideally expect for them to carry out? And I feel like sometimes even we the people barely have an understanding of what the local government are supposed to do, what the local government is supposed to do. We don't have any idea, mostly because the state has commandeered the responsibility of the local government, and they've rendered them domicile. So we don't even know what the local government is supposed to do. So if you don't know the function of an institution, if you don't know the function of an individual, if you don't know the function of a group of individuals, how then do you hold them to account? How do you know that a person is not performing his or her duty if you don't even know what those duties are? Local government themselves, they're supposed to be responsible for things like collection of taxes and fee. I'm talking revenue generation to a large extent. They're supposed to also be responsible for provision of medical and health services, of course, at the grassroots level. They're supposed to even give economic recommendation to the state, which makes a lot of sense, because at the state is your only so close to the people. This is a limit to the closeness, right, that you've been able to establish with the people. But the local government, they live there with the people. You can walk up to your local government chairman, you know where he is, you know who he is, you know his father, you know his children. So you can have a conversation with the local government chairman. They see firsthand what is going on within the state, and so they can give economic recommendations to the state because they know what the exact problems of each local government areas are. There's no one size fit all. The local government have individual specific problems, and so the local government chairman will see this problem and tell you, in this local government area their problem is a lack of potable water. In this local government area their problem is electricity. In this area is infrastructural decay. In this area is the aftermath of flooding. And so they're able to recommend to the state that this is what you need to do in this area. This is what you need to do in this area. Unlike a situation where the governor just assumes that the problem everybody has is transportation. Whereas in one local government area, they might not exactly have problem with transportation. They're moving around just fine. What they need is water. What they need is electricity. But the governor there just sits at the state house and just assumes that the problem everybody has is that the price of food is too much, although in most cases the problem of food is usually the same across board. But you know what I mean. There are individual problems that affect individual local government area, which is why one of the duties of the local government is to make economic recommendations to the state. Also the provision, even maintenance of markets, right, maintenance and provisions of motor parks, community development, even customary or area courts, things like this. Those are some of the responsibilities of the local government. But we see nowadays that the governors are the ones, or the state are the ones who carry out this responsibility. You'll be seeing an organization that belongs to the state, when ideally it should be run by the local government. So then you ask the question, even if they give the local government these monies, what do they want to use the monies for? Because the responsibility they're supposed to execute, or the tax that is expected of them to execute with the finances that have been given to them, has been taken over by the state government, and now the state is not even able to focus on its own primary responsibility, because it has taken on the job of the local government. And a few of these duties, like I said, have been indeed commandeered by the state government. And this again brings us into the conversation of the revenue sharing formula when it comes to federal revenue. Unfortunately, the center still takes the bulk of the resources, 52.68% to the federal government, 26.72% to the state, and 20.6% to the local government. And then unfortunately, even that 20.6% does not necessarily get to the local government. The governors give them whatever they feel they need, or whatever they deserve, or ask them, tell me what you need and I'll give you what I can afford to give you. So they're not even necessarily following this formula. And then there have been arguments. Experts have said the money that is, or the revenue that is going to the center is even way too much. Because if truly we're talking about devolution of power, if truly we're talking about separation of power, right, you shouldn't have that much. You don't need that much money. Because if the local government is functioning optimally, right, they would be able to take care of the bulk of the problems at the grassroots level. So you wouldn't need to spend so much money taking care of things at the center. So that's way too much money you have at the center. But like I said, it's a debate amongst experts. It's a debate that unfortunately we've not been able to get a solution to, or we've not been able to see the end of that particular debate. And this is a system that sort of fails to promote fiscal efficiency. So we can't even really ask for accountability at the local government level, because the state government influence on the operations of the local government, and even the way the local government that should serve as an extension of the state have become just an appendage, makes it difficult to ask them, so what have you been able to do as a local government? Because they don't even have the financial resources they have to execute these responsibilities. Be a part of the conversation. 0913-6000-410. Send us a WhatsApp message, send us a text message. The number is the same for both WhatsApp and text message, 0913-6000-430. We're also streaming the program live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube as well. You can take advantage of the live chat option and send your message. Let's hear what you have to say about this particular conversation. You can also listen to us via Radio Guardian. That's for those of you who probably are unable to listen to us directly. You can listen to us via Radio Guardian Mainland 98.3 FM. It's the situation room on Mainland 98.3 FM, and like I said, the conversation for today is majorly around the situation of the relationship that we have between the state government and also the relationship that we see with the local government, and we sort of want to understand the influence that the center has on this estranged relationship. Let's take our first call as we proceed with conversations. Hello.
Hello,
yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening, John from Oga.
Welcome. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I think we have spoken about this local government autonomy several times. Hello. And we have concluded that we are talking about it that until the issue of INEC will go this time with the federal government or it is independent, that is when local government could be in use of the equal swing of the governor or the state government or the state governor. Without that, no big position is honest. And we feel that we still boil down to the fact that the democracy we are practicing is not true democracy. That has made it confusion. Where true democratic comes to observe, it should not be. Thank you for that happening.
Alright, thank you so very much for calling. We appreciate you. Well, we are not speaking in the generality of it. I did tell you that yesterday there was something of an update that there's been a 3-month extension of the implementation of the ruling of the Supreme Court, so we might not even see the implementation of this ruling until October of 2024. So this is more or less an update on the conversation around local government autonomy and also the position of the state when it comes to the implementation of said autonomy. The conversation can never end. There are always new angles, new perspectives to explore for this autonomy. So even if it is implemented, even if we rectify the electoral process, what guarantees do we have? What assurances do we have that the system will still not be corrupted? What do you think we need to do to ensure that we do not see a corruption of a system that we constantly try to rectify? These are the angles that I would like for us to look at this evening as we analyze local government autonomy and the relationship with the state government. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My take on this, the judgment delivered by Supreme Court in granting local government financial autonomy is that it still remains the fact that if there is no electoral impact in terms of allowing INEC to be the one conducting local government elections, it will fertile all this effort made by Supreme Court by giving them financial autonomy. Because tell me, the governor that actually make all the arrangements for all the chairmen to be elected, who are you as one of the chairmen to say no, I won't do the bidding of the governor? Governor will still be the one piloting all the affairs of the local government and tell them the doors and done.
Let me ask you something, sir. Let me ask you something. Don't worry, you have your time. I want to ask you a question. I remember the 2023 election, it was a lot of people that also questioned the independence of INEC, because a lot of people called and said, well, INEC itself, they're not acting like they're independent, they're also being funded by the federal government. So it was a lot of expression of mistrust or distrust for INEC, and now we're saying that this same INEC that the bulk of people criticized and blamed for the outcome of the election should be the one to handle the elections at the local government level. So you see, there's sort of like
the level of local government, people don't local government, because that is why our electoral act needed to be reformed, because the one at the aim of affairs who will be part of it, just like you being a part of the football team, and you will be the one to select the referee to officiate the same match that they are going to be part of. You know, we just give results that will go unbiased. So the same way, if that electoral reform that we have been clamoring for needed to be do all the necessary, things to get it right. If it is not done, it's still the same thing. That's why we are not just basing it on the local government only, but we are, extending it to the federal level so that we can now be able to choose or elect who will go for the interest of people, who will be there and represent people indeed.
Right.
That's my point there.
Thank you so much for calling. We appreciate your insight into the matter. Let's have a look at this conversation from the angle of traditional rulers, right? But then we'll do that right after I take this phone call. Hello, good evening. Oh, I think we lost that call. You can call back 0913-6000-410. Like I said, let's have a look at this from the angle of traditional rulers. In this conversation, just like local government, right, you'd expect that a traditional ruler is chosen by the people. He's familiar with the area, the cultural practices, and he has the interests of those at the grassroots at heart. And before the introduction of this federalism that we have right now, these traditional rulers meant a lot to the people. But nowadays, traditional rulers themselves have been politicized. That these individuals are more concerned about being favored by the governors and will take sides of the governors over their own people. So there is a role that traditional rulers play in the relationship between the state and the local government. Traditional rulers also exist, and we're talking grassroots, and they are a big part of grassroots development because people listen to them. They should have a relationship with the local government, but like I said, we now have traditional rulers that are more concerned about being friends with the state governors when they're supposed to be something of the mouthpiece for the local government areas. I really want to hear your perspective on this angle as well, the need to synergize all of those who are involved in administration when it comes to the grassroots level. We have a phone call. Let's take this and continue the conversation. Good evening. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh, it's quite loud.
Even if local government decided for those elections, local government are free. Well, why is the plan that they will get use of the money are given? Is that not the question you ask? And that brings me to the fact that this question I've been asking, who will bear the cat now? It's all about bad governance.
Thank you for calling back. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Alright, we lost that particular call. 0913-6000-410. 0913-6000-410 is the phone line if you'd like to participate. The conversation is around the complex relationship between the local and the state government and our expectations if by October, by virtue of the 3 months extension, this financial autonomy is truly implemented. What expectations do you expect, or what do you have in mind? What do you expect to happen when this autonomy is fully implemented? Hello. You're live.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes,
good evening.
Good evening. I'm Musa, I'm calling from
Yeah, Musa.
Yes, I'm Musa, I'm calling from
Alright, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I've been listening to that program for several times, but when I'm calling, I listen to. But thank God I've got it now. I will tell you the truth. Corruption has finished this country. Before this country will be able to get what they want, except the very corruption of it. I have many people, but there's nothing I can do now. It will get it another day. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for calling. We appreciate you. Well, there's also the impact of the political landscape on the relationship between the two levels of government. Most times, right, you see that the political party that is in power at the state level, at the local government levels, all of the representatives also are members of the party. And so, how exactly can you ask for accountability? Who do you report who to? If the local government are not performing, and then you take the matter to the state government, they're kin, they're brothers. And so the need to mix up and allow for other people or a situation where party affiliation is not a factor to consider when putting people in position, in charge of local government development. Do you understand? I don't know if you understand the perspective that we're bringing up here. That what happens at the center obviously has an influence of what happens at the local government level, where both at the center, at the state level, at the local government level, is the same people that represent the same ideology. How then can you expect development? Good evening. Hello. Alright, please call back. Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, this is Paul from it, but I called before, but you were not hearing me.
Oh, I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah, you see, we have to tell ourselves the honest and bitter truth, irrespective of where we have our affection or where we have our mind. The Nigerian state is fundamentally structured not to succeed. And we have to go back to the foundation, just like the patriots visited Mr. President and tendered for him to call on the assembly for a review of our constitution, so that Nigeria will have a structure that everybody can depend and bet on. Right now, the structure we have, it does not guarantee a good administration. It does not guarantee good governance. No matter how you twist it, no matter the amendment that is being done, it is not the people's constitution. Until Nigerians make their own constitution, place it on referendum, and Nigerians vote and say this is how we want our institutions to be, and this is how we want to be governed, then we can't make a progress. All these things we are doing, we are just running around the table from year in, year out, year in, year out. The old administration comes, new one comes, the same story, if not care is not taken, it becomes worse than the former one. So the problem we have is our constitution. The constitution does not guarantee a strong institution. The constitution does not guarantee equality. The constitution does not guarantee accountability. Until we do away with this constitution, there is nothing, no fundamental change or progress will be made. Look at Rwanda. Can you imagine that Africans will be assembling in Rwanda for a conference while the giant of Africa is sleeping?
No, but I apologize for interrupting, but Rwanda is not exactly a model country when it comes to democracy. They're not exactly a good example to use, because the practices there is not necessarily democratic.
Yes, but Nigeria is not necessarily democratic. Yeah, that's just the truth, because the things that happen here, see, it doesn't happen in a democratic setting. It doesn't happen. I have lived in the Western world before I relocated back to Nigeria. These things that happen here doesn't happen.
Thank you so much for calling. We appreciate your insight. 0913-6000-410 is the phone line. WhatsApp text message 0913-6000-430. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening.
Yes.
This is Pastor Balamasi from Sᴜᴜ.
Nice to have you, Pastor Balamasi. I need you to turn down the volume on your radio, sir.
I have enjoyed your input. Local government is a function. If local government is not functioning, then it's a problem of inefficiency of the state. But when we start this problem, when Babangida started to have at that time he wanted to have the world government, where world becomes the government. Everybody must come to Abuja. If that is called environment management over centralization. And when you have local government, it's decentralization. And as far as I'm concerned, federal republic, any federal arrangement, then the state take control of the local government. If the local government is not functioning well, it's a problem for the state government to also handle. I can remember at one time where the local government were not able to pay teacher salary for over a year, and there was a strike almost 8 months. My daughter was a victim of that period, and I can never forget. You see, when we talk of local government, they don't go there. They just share money, pay their salaries and go home. And if you give them more money now,
they have more money to share. What we are having for is supervision. Is the state government supervising the local government enough? The inefficiency in the local government is a function of deficiency in state governance. States should take proper control role to play in the local government affairs.
Thank you for calling. You have a need for that. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, you're live. Please speak up, sir.
Yeah. Mr. Banjo.
Mr. Banjo, you sound very far away from your phone. Do you want to maybe speak directly into?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm from Akeko.
Alright.
Yeah, what I want you to believe is that, do you know that the House of Assembly are the custodian of the grassroots government? Did you believe that?
Explain to us how.
Did you believe that?
I'm telling you to tell us.
Huh?
Tell us.
Hello, I'm listening to you.
I'm telling you to explain to us why you think so.
I believe you are on the program.
Mr. Banjo, go ahead.
Okay. Do you believe that the legislators are the custodian of the local government?
And I'm telling you to tell us why you formed that opinion. Talk to us.
Okay, thank you. The assembly are the custodian of the local government. The reason is this. Their constituency is laid down. Their constituency is within the local government. Did you believe that?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Do you know that there is more disconnect between the local government and the legislature? They are so distant to their constituency. And there must be a synergy between the local government and the legislators. Do you believe that? So now, if there is a synergy between the local government and the legislature, we cannot see people without holding something. So people are not mentioning them, I don't know, for the grassroots government. People are not mentioning the local government and the legislators, and they go away with it. Since all these years, federal system of government has a principle. So if the principle of the federal people in Nigeria, we will not find ourselves where we find ourselves now. Look ourselves now. So there's so much of disconnect between the legislators and the local government. So it is not about the governor or the local government. So they have their part to play in the governance of the grassroots.
Thank you.
So I want you to know.
Thank you so
What
much.
about the constituency allowance being given to them? What are they planning to?
Thank you.
The constituency allowance. So and when they are contesting for election, you will see the local government being attacked.
Thank you so
their
much for calling,
constituency.
sir. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, good evening. This Mr. He communicates from Sᴏᴜᴜ.
Okay.
The best issue, the local government is one of the last ones. Thinking that the president, this everybody is commenting, and then the changing of going back to our national assembly, I think the president has been clear that we are moving towards the full system with the regional government. What everybody should know, and I know that they will need to continue. We know that our problem is the constitution. So if the president of the is changing the constitution to suit everybody where everybody can control what we have, and then they can start to say that we don't have problem with this, but I must condemn the president for being patient. I have never seen a president that was abused or a candidate that was abused by the Nigerian that big president. This president, now, this is when he becomes president. They say, this man is the bad decision of them, he will get the body, he can't do this. They think he will working that everybody has. He's hearing it. We are having problems. But if you want to take Nigeria back, you need to say that we are going to protect, we are taking our country back. Which country are you taking back? You have to go to the family and good protect for you. If you are taking your
I don't necessarily. I don't understand how your contribution relates to the conversation. You're talking about what people are saying about the president. I just need you to relate it to the conversation around expectations of the
look at the government
Thank you so very much for calling, so we appreciate you. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. I think it's a radio station.
Yes, it's Mainland FM.
Okay, my name is Augustine.
Alright, welcome.
From Paraguay. So the problem of local government is that they are not ready to live up to their expectations. But now, I expect them to break rural rules and make it accessible and create more jobs for the rural dwellers to be employed. So that is what I expect them to do.
Hello, good evening. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, good evening.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good evening, sir. It's very noisy where you are. It's so hot.
Please,
To call us back is very noisy where you are, and I don't think we'll be able to understand any message that you pass to us via the phone in that environment. So please do call back if you have the opportunity to do so, hopefully in a calmer environment. Alright, let's take this phone call, and of course we'll read messages that we've gotten so far on Facebook and also on our WhatsApp platform. Hello.
Hello, Madam Chief. Good evening.
Good evening.
We have Chief of Pagwadi. I'm calling from Sᴏᴜ in Ogun State.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the issue on ground, the issue of local government and the judgment of Supreme Court and their autonomy. I said from day one that it is what they call mirage victory. Mirage victory in the sense that any court judgment that cannot be implemented due to one reason or the other is regarded as mirage victory. And when you look at that pronouncement by the Supreme Court, this will be our constitution. They are at loggerheads. They are at loggerheads. The governor and the constitution are giving some enormous power in so many areas. The state, what do you call it? State assembly, like somebody said, they have a lot of power to control local government. Then not only that, you have a lot of other functions. We have joint task force. Task board. The federal government, the state and local government, they have what we call joint task board in the constitution. They also have joint account between state and local government. And so many other contradictions in this constitution we are talking about. And that is why when you go to any local government, they don't even have, the major problem is they don't have qualified manpower. The only person that is on ground is the chairman and the secretary of local government. They are different departments. Go there and see their finance department or account department. They don't have better accountant. Go to their land and rural development. They don't have qualified surveyor. Go to Department of Agriculture. They don't have graduates. All they have in most cases are area boys. Stop. Next time that populate the local government nationwide. So it's going to be a big task for them to carry out the function they are not given by the Supreme Court. And without amending the constitution or throwing away the constitution, there is no way this thing can be implemented. You have to throw away this constitution, like somebody said earlier on, before this can be implemented. And because the judgment contradicted many sections of that constitution. And if you look at the origin of this constitution we are talking about, it is just the carryover from the bank constitution that was taken over by Abacha and given to us up to now. You look back to Abacha, the Babangida came to local government, and they had a first lady, President Babangida may have so recently, that will give family support program. So this family support program, Babangida wanted the wife to have connection in all the local government, so that the military administrator of military governors, all the contracts they are doing, everybody in the country will be able to go ahead without any obstruction by the then local administrators. That is why they brought the joint account. As their phone is released in Abuja, the people that got contract to families of program from first lady, they will follow that allocation to the church. I was in service that time.
Thank you for
and that is what we are they remove it if they cannot be implemented. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you so much for calling. We have messages on WhatsApp. We have, good afternoon, Sage. The only solution to the problem is to bring in the law in China, meaning capital punishment to every government official or otherwise, and corruption will soon end in the country. All right, thank you very much, John Benjamin, for your message. We appreciate you. Well, from everything you all have said so far, the question has expanded. Is the Constitution the problem, or are the enforcers of the provision of the Constitution the problem? Is it a lack of personnel competence, or is it just local government administrators that are beneficiaries of this anomaly because the state governors were becoming too overbearing and were inserting themselves in the operations of local government by means of preventing financial flow to these local governments? Of course, you are beholden to anyone who controls your finances. It's a no-brainer. But then again, recent revelations, recent dialogue, recent conversations, and the opinions of experts is that the problem is far outside just the financial aspect of it. There's also the conversation of local government administrators themselves that are very, very satisfied with that arrangement because they can benefit immensely from the anomaly. As long as they stay loyal to the state governors, they enjoy themselves at the detriment of their people. There's also conversations around a lack of personnel. Even the local government administrators themselves do not have the capacity to run the local government areas effectively. So even if you hand them all the money in the world, they don't have anything. They don't have anything. They don't have any innovations to offer the people at all. Some say it's the Constitution. You have empowered the state governors way too much. You've granted them too much freedom to now handle the local government administrators. So you can see that the problem is hydra-headed, which is the worst of all the problems. And what one stone can we use to kill these many deads? Or do we have to find individual solutions to the individual problems?
I'm calling from
Turn down the volume on your radio and kindly speak up for us, sir.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay, it's fine. Please go ahead.
Okay, you were saying about maybe local government chairman having maybe the capable and
are they competent? Yeah, we're asking the question. Are they competent?
Not that you not see, but the governors have power over them. But it's me, for me, I feel that it's all those local government chairman that allow governors to control, overpower them, because they can go to court. Like you can see sometimes state government will carry federal government to court, and as you will see at the end they will come, the ruling will come in their favor. So it's likely like maybe local government chairman have the power and still know what is in the constitution. They can equally take state governors to court concerning local government autonomy. You understand me? So it's not that they don't have capable hand that will rule local government, but it's because of the control of the local chairman and governors in the state. They would like to bring their own people, maybe to take control of the local government. So no, that is not see capable hand. No, that will not see qualified people or people that is competent that will run for the local government to be effective. That's my own take.
All right. Thank you so very much for calling. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sister. My name is Daniel, and I'm calling from this.
Welcome.
Thank you. You see, it's not only about the local government. Nigeria as a whole is the only thing that can make Nigeria work together. If that is done, you see Nigeria of your day, today, not even tomorrow. Until all Nigeria comes together, like this period, protest, that protest was supposed to be against the removal of immunity against government. Even the immunity that cover all that state government, even that immunity should be removed. You see that practically everything about Nigeria will change to better. The local government, even now that the federal government have went to court against the state government concerning local government, what will happen at the end of the day? It is the same state government that will conduct the election of that local government. At the end of the day, if it is the government that is in charge of that, they say that the election is being conducted, all the state governments will
governor there of River State, you discover that the way local government in River State, everything is taken. That is what we want to happen. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you so very much for calling. We appreciate you. We have another message here on Facebook. Kabiru Adegbowo says, good evening, Madam Sage. I'm optimistic that the local government autonomy that has just been passed will be fruitful in years to come. Now, everyone will focus on the activity of his or her local government council, and if he or she fails to provide basic amenities for the people, they will hold them accountable for the failure. God bless my country, Nigeria. Tochukwu Adili Thompson is on Facebook, and he says, good evening. The local government were created for resource allocations and sharing of power. They were not created to function at all. Let me inform all that it is a lost love or battle. It is not constitutional amendments that is the solution. The constitution, if amended, will cause them huge losses. Those that gain from its wrong. The solution to any single function of any institution in Nigeria is the Southeast inclusion and sincere guarantee of equity, justice, and fairness, which, if sincerely guaranteed, will enable to amend the constitution itself. All the contradictions and non-functionality of the local government are payback. I mean, come on, Tochukwu Adili Thompson, how did you manage to make this a regional problem? We're talking about local government functionality, and you somehow made this a regional problem. Let's do better. Let's do better. And I really expected more from you, to be honest. But it's your opinion. I guess we have no choice but to accept it. But thank you. Let's take another phone call. 0913-6000-410. Oh, we can't take another phone call. I apologize, because in about a minute we have to pause very briefly to take the headline news. But then we'll be back. We'll be back. We still have some 20-30 minutes to have conversations this evening, and also try to understand what is going to be different. Otherwise, my name, the Situation Room, is the program. The conversation once again is to understand if this ruling by the Supreme Court will repair the relationship between the state and local government, and ultimately the ripple effect will be development for the people. Don't go anywhere. After this break, after the commercial break and the headline news, we'll be back to take your submission.
Things seems anxious and uncertain. I understand hardship.
To bring a perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say to except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, so stands the demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing, we are starving. We should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Ʀᴏᴏᴜ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on Iɪrsᴛᴜᴛᴏ Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you your minutes as we discuss the situations.
Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM.
News on Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Omobola Sandra. President Tinubu arrives Equatorial Guinea for 3-day visit. INEC boss calls for vigilance ahead of Edo and Ondo Expressway. Speaker withdraws bill seeking jail term for refusing to recite national anthem. And the forums in Thailand's Constitutional Court dismisses Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin over ethical violation. U.S. Army analyst pleads guilty to selling military secrets to China. In sports, Mourinho's Fenerbahce crash out of Champions League. As for headline news on Mainland FM, details at 5:30.
listening to Mainland 98.3 FM.
It's a plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness. Is it when it is cooked with non-seasoned chips for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, carved of no cubes, and served with plenty of vegetables. So, go ahead and elevate your meals. Today, it's for good.
Looking for ways to save your data? It starts with your apps. Deleting unused apps helps, but there is more. Most apps have data saver modes. Activate them to control data usage. You can also go to settings to turn off auto updates. Lastly, close unused apps to save data when you ain't using your apps. These changes can make a big difference. For more information, visit your mobile operator's website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for more helpful tips. Stay connected and enjoy smarter data usage. This message is brought to you by the Association of Telecom Operators and Nigerian Communications Commission.
Chai, my head, Ogala Lord. When you shake like fan, my village people don't come again. This is what your body hot so. You don't do best. Yes, see result though. Ogala Lord, maybe your village people. Na malaria, you need Luta. Luta na better medicine. You dey knock down malaria. Luta, brand of continental aluminum train, is another quality product from Movit, marketed by Pharmatex Nigeria Limited, with symptoms persisting for 3 days. See your doctor.
Everybody say thanks, Luta. Malaria is
with no cube. No add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, potassium, shombo, onions. No way I know the put. Now you make my pikin them, they always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never available. I want more.
Is all your food with correct vegetables? Come season am with no cubes for that ogbonge delicious taste. Today, chop better.
You dey find ways to save your data. You go first start out with your apps. Delete apps wey you no dey use but other things go still dey. Some apps get data saver modes. Make you activate them to control the data usage. You fit also go your setting make you off the auto updates them. Then make you also close apps wey you no dey use to save your data when you no dey use your apps. This small change go fit help you save your data well. For more information, make you go your mobile operator website or consumer.ncc.gov.ng for better tips. Make we dey connect and enjoy our data use well. This message dey come from the Association of
Chai, my head, Ogala Lord. When you dey shake like fan, my village people don't come again. This is what your body hot so. You don't do best. Yes, see result though. Ogala Lord, maybe your village people. Na malaria, you need Luta. Luta na better medicine. We dey knock down malaria. Pick up. Eight product from Movit, marketed by Pharmatex Nigeria Limited, with symptoms persisting for 3 days. See your doctor.
Everybody say thanks, Luta. Malaria's in big trouble.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. Mainland 98.3 FM, your #1 radio. We are the South.
This seems anxious and uncertain. I understand.
Request to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development within 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday. A perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere it This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this platform, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, all stand to demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's important having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join ʀᴏᴏᴍ to take to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on Yᴏᴜᴛᴜ Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you next as we discuss the situations.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. It's Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. It is the Situation Room, the Wednesday edition. The conversation is around local government autonomy. Is that the ultimate solution to the many problems, the myriads of problems that we have in the country? Many say that because the local government are not necessarily efficient, because the state government have decided to grassroots or a decadence or a depreciation in the operations of local government at the grassroots level. And now that the Supreme Court has decided to grant financial autonomy to the local government, experts are still telling us that that might not necessarily be the problem to the solution that we have. That's one problem to one solution. It's multiple problems, a plethora of problems that bedevil the local government, that bedevil governance at the grassroots level. There are many factors that we still have to consider. Some say it's the election, some say it's the composition or what constitutes the Electoral Act. Some say that it's the Constitution in itself, the provisions of the Constitution. Some say even local government, the few times or at least the one time in 2019 where they were granted something of an autonomy, what were they able to do? They owed salaries, they were unable to function. Some say local government administrators are too beholden to the state governors, that even if you grant them financial autonomy, it still does not mean that they will do the bidding of the people. And so we're asking the question, what exactly is the problem? And if we can establish that all of these things I mentioned earlier are the problems, what individual solutions can we prefer to this problem? If we make money available to the local government, how can we demand accountability? How can we demand transparency? And what yardsticks do we use to measure operational efficiency at the end of the day? 0913-6000-410. Hello. The volume on your radio, sir. Please, I need you to turn it down.
Again, I believe strongly concerning the autonomy of local government, why they've been given the free way to get their money. You see, can they manage the money? That is the question. 774 local governments in the country. There are certain local governments that not so far away. I don't know how they can manage that background. I don't know how we can get the impact of their operation. I believe they cannot, when they want to start some kind of project, you see that the state government will come in, they won't be able to put any project, meaningful project as such. You see, when you say you give them money, they just go there, inefficiency will lock everywhere. They will lack staff, they will lack competent staff, they will lack a lot of things. So I don't believe they should give them this kind of leeway they are giving them now to go and share money. I don't believe it at all. It's not going to work.
Right. Thank you. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good evening. Yeah, this is Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ M쏘ɪᴜᴅ.
Good.
I sent a message earlier, but it looks as if you didn't actually get where I was going to.
Talking about the Southeast.
No, it's not. I'm not talking about Southeast. I'm just being frank about it. Let me let you know. The reason why the implementation of the Supreme Court government is suspended is the same. They are saying that if it is implemented, it's going to enable the local government to function effectively. They won't talk about their decision for some local government also in the south in the 5 states, for instance, not to function, not to develop, to the extent that they think is a threat to the oneness of Nigeria. So, and somebody called earlier to suggest that the constitution needed to be amended. I now go to my library and also learn that I'm glad and brought out that maybe the constitution, to amend the constitution sincerely, you understand, they also think of not enabling the southeast to come up. So the only solution is for all of us to sincerely come together, either by way of national conference or even implementing the 2014 national conference report to ensure equity, fairness, and justice. All of us will agree. When I'm saying that if, for instance, we have government like what we have today, we will not begin to suspend it. We will just go ahead and implement it.
Let me understand that perspective, because what you're insinuating is that certain people are opposing, the development of local government areas in the southeast because they are afraid that if the southeast sees development in the grassroots level, they would become too functional and it will be a threat to their own power. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, let me also say more that some
I don't like that idea that you are forming. So you did mean the same thing that you sent to me via text. You have made this a regional conversation. We're talking local government development, we're talking local government autonomy, and you have brought a conspiracy theory that there are people who do not want development in the grassroots level, specifically in the southeast, because they are afraid that if the southeast develops too much, it becomes a threat to their own power. I do not understand how we got to that position. That's what I don't understand.
That's what I want to answer you. I want to explain it to you. You know that before I set my meeting, somebody called earlier to say that the constitution will have to be amended. Now, I know that the constitution will not be sincerely amended because there is plan, agreement to underdevelop some select part of the country, not only southeast.
You said southeast in your message. You didn't say part of the country. You specifically said southeast. In fact, you put it in caps. It was in capital letter. So you knew exactly what you were talking about. Mr. Tochukwu Thompson, you have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you for calling. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good evening, ma'am.
Good morning.
Welcome.
You see, when you see where local government is working, come to Agege local government. If you see Agege, I think that in those days you are ashamed to say I live in Agege, and they'll be looking at you as Agege that used to be clean. Come to local government. That is how local government works. The chairman of that local government is, I understand the speaker is from that local government, is working hand in hand with whoever he's working with. Everywhere there is arranged marketplaces, card road in and out of every street. Come to Agege local government. And that is how it's supposed to be functional. But giving them money directly, if you give the local government chairman of Agege, it will be better. Better than what he's doing. Because he owns the money now. But I'm telling you, 99% of the local government chairmen that are coming, they are coming to take their own. They will become Lord of Manor unto themselves and to those people who is supposed to have to be serving in the local government. It's going to be a big task for governor to monitor such person. That's my ground belief initially. That government inside government, because governor has his own money, local government chairman has his own money. We only pray that they get, committed local government chairman that will come and work for them, not for somebody who lives in two local government, the next thing is in areas and neglect the local government
that they are supposed to take care of inner roads, drainages, the public water, maybe a small health center for people who have malaria can run into the place or having a diarrhea. They will be weak and pack the money, buy more wives and go away. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you so much for calling. Hello.
Hello, Babalola.
Good evening, sir.
Thanks for my dear. May God bless you.
You too.
My name is we need electoral reform. Yes. Even if the president elected today, the party in power, we all the local government chairman, I don't bother at all. But you have no right to so that government and the local government chairman money. If any government did it, yes, so then it's a big victory for us. The one who got for the Supreme Court. The next thing is the reform of our electoral law. That is, if you allow me to talk here more now, in 1999, the local government then was conducted without any government intervention. The local government has in my place today. No local government perform like that one up to date. So my dear I'm celebrating that. This is Mr. Sunday calling from the occasion.
Okay, Mr. Sunday.
Oh, well, good evening.
Yes.
Saga. See, when we were crying, Nigerian citizens, I don't know, we don't even know what we want. We don't know what we want. We were crying that state government is eating the allocation of it. Then we should get to the training to carry on all the projects the local government. The citizens are still crying again. They will need the money. They will need the money. So now, who is going to develop the trainer? Because if you go back to the state government to develop the local government, it will not work out. So I believe that local government has chairmen who are very responsible, who are well educated. Okay, the federal government should form an agency